Most people think they are broke after they spend money, but the truth is worse. For many people, the paycheck is already broken before they ever touch it. You get paid on Friday. For a few hours, maybe even one full day, your bank account looks healthy. You feel a little relief. You breathe differently. You tell yourself, okay, this month might finally be better. Then the money starts disappearing. Taxes already took their share before the deposit arrived. Insurance already took its share. Retirement contributions, health coverage, payroll deductions, and automatic withholdings already reduced the number before you even saw it. Then rent comes out. The car payment hits. Car insurance follows. Utilities, phone bill, internet, subscriptions, memberships, apps, storage plans, streaming services, and all the small monthly charges begin lining up like they were waiting for permission. And the dangerous part is that none of this feels reckless. It feels normal. It feels responsible. It feels like adult life. So when the money is gone, you blame yourself. You tell yourself you must have spent too much. You think maybe it was the coffee. Maybe it was the takeout. Maybe it was that one Amazon order. Maybe you just need more discipline. And maybe some of that is true. But it is not the whole truth. Because many people are not broke because they made one dramatic mistake. They are broke because their income is being claimed in layers. And once you understand those layers, you stop asking, why am I bad with money? You start asking a much more important question. How much of my paycheck was ever truly mine? That is where Tyler's story begins. Tyler is 34 years old. He works as a marketing manager. He earns $142,000 a year. On paper, Tyler should be fine. He is not unemployed. He is not making minimum wage. He is not living some wild, reckless life. He has a respectable job, a solid salary, and an income that many people would assume should solve most money problems. But every month, Tyler feels the same pressure. His paycheck lands, his account looks strong for a moment. Then the machine turns on. At first, Tyler blames himself. Maybe he orders food too often. Maybe his apartment is a little too expensive. Maybe he should cancel a few subscriptions. Maybe he should stop buying convenience and start acting more serious. But the more he looks at the numbers, the more uncomfortable the truth becomes. Tyler is not broke because of one stupid decision. He is trapped because his paycheck is being claimed before it becomes wealth. There is a system around his income, and that system has 4 layers. The first layer is the money he never sees. When Tyler says he makes $142,000 a year, that number feels powerful. It sounds like progress. It sounds like freedom. It sounds like the kind of salary that should make life easier. But that number is not Tyler's real life. That is the headline number. That is the number on the offer letter. That is the number people hear and judge him by. But Tyler does not live on gross income. Nobody does. Before the money reaches his checking account, federal taxes take a piece. State taxes take a piece. Social Security and Medicare take their share. Health insurance reduces the check. Dental and vision coverage reduce the check. Retirement contributions reduce the check. HSA contributions reduce the check. And because Tyler does not physically swipe a card for these things, they do not feel like spending. They feel invisible. They just happen. That is why the first trap is so easy to miss. Tyler thinks his financial power is $142,000, but his real financial power is whatever survives the first round of claims. This is where many people make the first wrong calculation. They build their confidence around salary. They build their lifestyle around salary. They compare themselves to other people based on salary. But salary is not the number that decides your freedom. Net cash flow does. Your salary is the headline. Your margin is the truth. And Tyler has never really measured his life from the margin. He has measured it from the paycheck. That mistake changes everything. Because when the paycheck arrives, Tyler thinks the month is beginning, but the month has already begun without him. The first system has already collected. The money he sees is already the reduced version. Then the second layer begins. The paycheck lands, and the automatic payments start moving. Rent, car payment, car insurance, utilities, internet, phone bill, streaming services, gym membership, cloud storage, productivity apps, meal delivery, a subscription he forgot about, another subscription that used to be cheap, another app that quietly renewed in the background. Each charge looks small compared to his income, and that is the trick. A $14.99 subscription does not feel dangerous. A $39 upgrade does not feel life-changing. A $50 rent increase does not feel like financial collapse. A car payment that technically fits inside the monthly budget feels normal. But the paycheck does not care that each charge feels reasonable by itself. The paycheck only feels the total. And when Tyler finally opens his banking app, the number on the screen tells him what his emotions have been trying to ignore. Most of the paycheck is already spoken for. He is not managing the whole deposit. He is managing what survived the claims. And that is a completely different game. This is the paycheck claim system. It does not usually destroy you with one huge bill. It wears you down with many small claims that all feel normal. Each one says, I am not the problem. Rent says, everyone needs a place to live. The car says, you need transportation. Insurance says, you need protection. Subscriptions say, it is only a few dollars. Convenience says, you are busy. You deserve this. And individually, each one may be right. But together, they can turn a strong income into a fragile life. Tyler does not feel broke because he has no money coming in. He feels broke because too much money has already been assigned before he gets to decide what matters. Then comes the third layer. The money Tyler thinks is flexible is not fully flexible. This is where budgets begin to lie. After rent, insurance, bills, and autopay, Tyler looks at what remains and thinks, okay, this is my breathing room. Maybe he sees $850 left. That sounds like space. That sounds like progress. That sounds like the month may finally work. But real life has not finished charging him yet. Groceries are not optional. Gas is not optional. Medical copays are not optional. Prescriptions are not optional. Pet bills, haircuts, work clothes, dry cleaning, home supplies, small repairs, birthday dinners, oil changes, replacement chargers, parking fees, family gifts, pharmacy runs, and unexpected errands all arrive eventually. Budgeting apps may call these variable expenses, but many of them do not behave like choices. They behave like bills without a fixed date. They may not arrive on the first of the month. They may not have a contract. They may not send a warning, but they still come. And this is where Tyler's brain keeps getting tricked. The app says he has $850 left. His brain says, maybe I can finally get ahead. But life says, not yet. Because groceries go up. Gas changes. Someone gets sick. Something breaks. A friend invites him to dinner. His car needs maintenance. His dog needs a vet visit. A work event requires clothes he was not planning to buy. And suddenly, the $850 is not really $850. It may be closer to $250 of true optional money. That is the number Tyler actually controls. Not the salary, not the gross pay, not even the paycheck deposit. The real number is what remains after invisible deductions. Automatic payments, necessary costs, and predictable surprises have already taken their share. And when that number gets small enough, life does not need to ruin you. It only needs to nudge you. A slightly higher grocery bill, a rent increase, one medical bill, one birthday, one car repair, one insurance premium change, one weekend trip. one holiday, one ordinary month. That is all it takes to turn a good salary into another month with no progress. This is why Tyler feels confused, because on paper, he earns enough, but in reality, his margin is thin. And when your margin is thin, your life can look successful and still feel financially unsafe. That is the part people do not see from the outside. They see the salary, they see the job title, they see the apartment, they see the car, they see the restaurant photo, they see the normal adult life, but they do not see the tiny space between income and obligation. They do not see that Tyler is not building wealth, he is maintaining a structure, and the structure keeps getting more expensive. Then Tyler gets a raise. This should be the turning point. This should be the moment where everything changes. He gets an $8,000 raise. At first, it feels like the answer. More income, more breathing room, more control, he tells himself. This is finally when money stops feeling tight. But the raise does not arrive as one clean $8,000 deposit. It is spread across paychecks. It is reduced by taxes. It is reduced by deductions. It shows up quietly, in smaller pieces than Tyler imagined. And then something even more dangerous happens. His life notices the raise before his future does. Rent goes up, insurance changes, a few subscriptions increase. A phone upgrade feels reasonable now. A better gym membership feels deserved. More convenient groceries feel harmless. A nicer car payment feels manageable. Takeout feels less guilty. Travel feels more justified. Small upgrades begin to feel normal. And because none of these changes feel dramatic, Tyler does not experience them as lifestyle inflation. He experiences them as life continuing. That is what makes lifestyle creep so dangerous. It rarely feels like creep when you are inside it. It feels like solving problems. It feels like buying back time. It feels like finally being able to breathe. It feels like becoming the person your income says you should be. But the system sees the raise before Tyler protects it. And once the extra money is absorbed, the raise stops feeling like progress. It becomes the new normal. This is why so many people can double their income and still feel trapped. Their salary rises, but their structure rises with it. The apartment gets better, the car gets nicer, the insurance gets more expensive, the convenient spending becomes routine, the subscriptions multiply, the emergency fund still stays small, the investment account does not grow much, and the person says, I do not understand. I make more than I used to. Why does it still feel like nothing changed? The answer is painful. More income does not create freedom if every new dollar is assigned before it builds anything. A raise is not wealth if it only feeds a more expensive version of the same life. This is the part most people miss. Being broke is not always about having no money. Sometimes being broke means having no margin, no room, no buffer, no space between your income and your obligations. And when there is no margin, even a strong income can feel fragile. Tyler's parents do not understand this at first. They remember raising a family on less money. They remember buying a house earlier. They remember vacations that did not require a financial strategy. They look at Tyler's salary and wonder how he can still feel behind. But Tyler is not living in the same financial environment. Housing takes more. Cars cost more. Insurance takes more. Healthcare takes more. Childcare, if he ever needs it, would take even more. Subscriptions have replaced many one-time purchases. Digital services create small recurring claims on income. Convenience has become a business model, and pricing systems are built around what people can tolerate monthly, not what helps them build wealth. That does not remove Tyler's responsibility. He still has choices. He still has to pay attention. He still has to make trade-offs. But it does mean his problem is not just personal discipline. It is structure. He is making choices inside a system designed to turn income into recurring payments. And if he solves the wrong problem, he will stay trapped. If he thinks the only problem is spending, he will shame himself every month. If he thinks the only problem is salary, he will chase raises without protecting them. If he thinks the only problem is budgeting, he will keep organizing numbers that were already claimed before he opened the app. The real problem is that Tyler has been managing money from the wrong starting line. He starts with the paycheck, but he should start with the margin. Margin is the money that is truly available after fixed, automatic, necessary, and predictable costs are removed. That is the number that decides whether you can save. That is the number that decides whether you can invest. That is the number that decides whether an emergency becomes annoying or devastating. That is the number that decides whether a raise changes your life or disappears into the background. So the first money logic lesson is simple. Do not ask, how much do I make? Ask, how much of what I make is still truly mine? That one question changes the entire picture. Because once Tyler calculates his real margin, he stops seeing one giant failure. He starts seeing a system. Layer 1, invisible deductions. Layer 2, automatic recurring bills. Layer 3, flexible expenses that are not really flexible. Layer 4, income increases that get absorbed before they are protected. Now the problem has shape. And once the problem has shape, it can be attacked. The first step is to calculate real take-home pay, not salary, not gross pay, not what the offer letter says. The amount that actually arrives after taxes, insurance, retirement contributions, and deductions. That is the real starting line. The second step is to subtract every recurring automatic charge: rent, car payment, insurance, utilities, phone, internet, subscriptions, memberships, apps, storage plans, anything that repeats. This is not about guilt. It is about visibility. Because a charge you do not see clearly is a charge that can keep winning. The third step is to separate true choice from fake choice. Groceries may vary, but food is not optional. Gas may change, but transportation is not optional. Medical costs may be irregular, but healthcare is not optional. So Tyler cannot pretend all remaining money is free money. He needs to estimate the predictable, irregular costs that keep ambushing his month. The fourth step is the most important. Protect new money before the system finds it. This applies to raises, bonuses, tax refunds, side income, and unexpected cash. If Tyler gets an $8,000 raise and lets it flow naturally into his checking account, life will probably absorb it. Not because he is stupid, because unprotected money tends to become available money. And available money tends to become spent money. A better approach is to give the raise a job before it becomes part of the lifestyle. Some of it could go directly toward savings. Some could go toward debt reduction. Some could go toward investments. Some could go toward an emergency fund. This is not personal financial advice. It is the principle that matters. Money protected early has a better chance of becoming wealth. Money left unassigned has a greater chance of becoming another invisible payment. That is where Tyler begins to change. He does not decide to hate his life. He does not cancel every small pleasure. He does not turn money into punishment. He simply stops pretending all expenses are equal. A subscription he barely uses is not the same as health insurance. A car payment that traps his cash flow is not the same as groceries. A phone upgrade is not the same as an emergency fund. A convenience habit is not the same as freedom. The goal is not to remove every cost. The goal is to protect the margin. Because margin is where wealth begins. Not salary, margin. A person earning $60,000 with a protected margin can sometimes build more stability than a person earning $142,000 with no margin at all. That does not mean income does not matter. Income matters a lot, but income without margin becomes a larger river flowing through the same leaks. More water enters, more water escapes, and at the end of the month, the person still feels dry. This is the real reason Tyler's paycheck was not solving the problem. The paycheck was bigger than before, but the structure around it was bigger too. And if the structure expands every time income expands, you never feel the full benefit of earning more. You only upgrade the cage. The turning point for Tyler is not another raise. It is the moment he stops asking where the money went after it disappeared and starts asking who claimed it before it had a chance to build anything. So he reviews 3 months of transactions, not to shame himself, to see the machine clearly. He looks at every recurring charge and asks one question: would I choose this again today? One is why. Not, did I choose it 2 years ago? Not, is it only $12? Not, is it annoying to cancel? Would I choose this again today? Some charges survive that question, others do not. Then he looks at his car payment, not as a status symbol, not as something he deserves, but as a monthly claim on future freedom. Then he looks at his rent, then his insurance, then his food habits, then his subscriptions, then his automatic upgrades, and slowly, the picture changes. He does not suddenly become rich. That is not how real money works, but he becomes aware. Awareness creates control. Control creates margin. Margin creates options. Options create stability. And stability gives wealth room to grow. The lesson is not that Tyler should never enjoy life. The lesson is that enjoyment becomes dangerous when it is financed by invisible erosion. A nice dinner is not the enemy. A subscription is not the enemy. A good apartment is not the enemy. A car is not automatically the enemy. The enemy is a life where every dollar is already claimed before you decide what matters. Because when every dollar is claimed, you are not choosing your future. You are only maintaining your current system. And that system may be quietly designed to keep you working, earning, spending, and starting over every month. So, if your paycheck disappears quickly, do not only ask whether you are careless. Ask whether your paycheck was already claimed. Ask what percentage of your income is gone before you touch it. Ask which automatic payments are still worth choosing. Ask which flexible costs are actually fixed. Ask whether your last raise improved your future or simply upgraded your lifestyle. Ask how much of your money is building something that belongs to you. Because your paycheck is not the whole story. Your salary is not the whole story. The real story is what your income becomes after the system takes its share. Does it become wealth? Does it become freedom? Does it become options? Or does it become a long list of payments that keep you looking successful while feeling trapped? That is the real reason many people are always broke. Not because every one of them is lazy. Not because every one of them is reckless. Not because they all need another lecture about coffee. But because modern life is very good at turning income into obligations. And the only way to fight that is to see the obligations clearly before they become invisible. Your paycheck may not be the problem. The real problem may be that too little of it is truly yours by the time you try to use it. The goal is not to look richer when the paycheck arrives. The goal is to own more of it before the month takes it away. And if this story helped you see paycheck math differently, don't just leave with the lesson. Subscribe to Money Logic, because every week we break down the money decisions that look normal on the surface, but quietly shape your wealth for years. Like the video if you want more real paycheck math, and subscribe now so you don't miss the next breakdown. This video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. It reflects general financial ideas and personal perspective, not personal financial advice. Always do your own research and consider speaking with a qualified financial professional before making major financial decisions.